Because I'm
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. We've had a day.
Uh,
It's not even like is it? It's almost noon, but
yeah, we've
I
already done an entire hour show. It was just behind the scenes trying to fix the
yeah
audio.
yeah we're on this. We're trying to be on this. We're
Um,
practicing self love and what's the word? Perseverance,
yeah, something
I
like that.
guess.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Woo, woo.
we got it fixed, so we
We
can both
did.
hear each other.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, Steve. I like the fact that occasionally these things happen when he's home, so he can help
There's the
fix it.
angels that know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
we're
because
gonna have
they
a meltdown.
exactly because they put him on telework
Right.
for the next few days because of the
That was
weather.
nice. Hmm.
So they're not having all the base employees driving, in unsafe conditions and whatnot. And I don't even know what it looks like outside. I haven't even bothered to look. I don't know if there's ice or snow or sleet or anything at all out there. I don't know. I
Yeah.
haven't even looked out the window.
Yeah.
And I've been in the basement for the last whatever hour or so, hour and a half trying to get this fixed. So anyway, good morning. How are you this
Good
morning?
morning.
Besides all this hectic trying to get our shit fixed situation.
Been, trying to
It's
deal with self doubt and self loathing as well. So, it's
yeah, it
we'll blame it on the weather. We can do
yeah.
that, right?
Yeah,
We
it,
just,
it made my
you
heart
know.
cold.
Funny story. Jesse actually swears that if I get upset enough, I make it rain. And when we were living in the desert, that was a legitimate like you do this, it's your fault. Like I think it's actually the reverse. I think like I am sensitive enough that like when the atmosphere changes, like it makes me a little more like,
Yeah,
you
when the
know?
weather's bad for me, I just no, I if the weather's bad, I think it makes me hate myself any more
Right?
than it already does.
Yeah. So
So I don't think that it's
you don't think you're causing it?
I don't think I'm the cause. Well, maybe
Because
I
like
am the cause because I have cry fest about myself like on a daily basis. So
so what happened was we were in Taos, New Mexico. Have you ever been?
yeah.
Okay, and they have that I always say it wrong, I'm sure. Pueblo villages, right? And they're like it's like 1,000-year-old village
They're
that
over
was
there
made with
somewhere.
the
Hold on one
clay or
second.
whatever.
They're
Yeah.
over there wrapped around something or somewhere.
Well, yeah, I was just looking for.
You want Oh, well, they're over here in these little That's not what you said. You said headphones, like you actually need headphones. But yeah, it is I well, I can't remember exactly where it's at, but I've been there.
Okay. So there's these Pueblo village that's like over 1,000 years old, and it's still like houses that were made with the clay
Yeah.
by the natives. And they're the only livable and still lived in homes made by the natives. So you can walk through only the first level. They're still inhabited. So we're there and we're walking through, and we're in like this little shop, and we're talking to the owner, and she says something about like it's been a drought here for like 10 months, almost a year. we really need rain. And Jesse goes, well, if you need rain, you really need to talk to Christy. And she's like, oh, you can make it rain. And I was like, no, he's joking. And he goes, no, she gets upset. She makes it rain. And I was like, no, he's joking. He's freaking joking. Shut up. So we go to leave, like we finished our little tour. We did our thing, seeing the church, blah, blah, blah. We go to leave. And I'm not kidding. He put the key in the ignition and it started to rain so hard we could not see the front of the car. And like, it was like sheets, just downpour. And he looked at me and he goes, should we go back and tell her you're welcome? And I was like, no, you need to leave right now because she's either going to burn me at the stake or she's never going to let me leave again. So get out of here.
Yeah, she's either going to put me in a dungeon and keep me there.
Yeah. Like, oh my God, what have you done? Because I'm sure at that exact moment she was losing her mind. Like, what just happened?
Like, how did this happen? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it wasn't even like 45 minutes later. I was like, oh my God, what just happened? It was so funny. So, yeah, thank you, Jesse, for putting that on me.
I think I can make it rain in that case. I think I'm more like Frozen, and I make the whole world freeze over.
Right?
Because
there you go.
I'm not gonna be responsible for that kind of bullshit.
No, you're not. You're just gonna make it all freeze.
Yeah, I would.
My
I'm
heart
pretty
is
sure.
cold.
I'm pretty sure I just make it freeze is what happens with me. Because
so new meaning to dark and twisty.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna be responsible for people's crashes with their cars because I think there is something true to the fact that I can make things not great. That is for sure.
Stop it. You bring light and sunshine everywhere you go.
I don't think that is an accurate statement. I'm pretty sure that is far from accurate.
I don't.
But
see, tell her to stop that.
Oh, look at that! There we go. That worked really well, didn't it?
No, that didn't work really well.
I was trying to make this part a little bit bigger, but
it works.
Steve is joining us today. How's it going?
It's going. We'll see what this weather does. They're saying 2 inches in the next 24 hours, 5 inches in the next 48. You know, and for
oh my God, it's a whiteout conditions.
And for everybody that's not in Alabama, doesn't realize that half an inch shuts the city down.
Wipes us out. Yeah. That's so much.
That's what people are like. 2 inches, who cares? It's like, well, yeah, most people don't, but I was looking on the Athens app on Facebook, and they were saying that they have the trucks loaded with sand because they don't have salt, and they will sand the bridges on the majors and then sand the roads in front of emergency services, and that's about the extent of it because they don't have snowplows.
Yeah, they don't.
The sky is so blue. It's hard to believe that's going to happen, though.
They're talking, though, that's not supposed to happen until, like, closer to midnight tonight.
Yeah, and then it's 20 degrees outside, but it's so blue.
Yeah, it's cold.
Yeah, but it's freezing outside.
It's so cold.
It is
and I don't
so
do cold. I'm a desert rat.
I think I was a lizard in a past life. I want to crawl onto a hot rock and just lay there. I mean, I was the person that, to be frankly honest here, I was the person who, when it was August and the sun was out and most people are warm, I'm still wearing a sweatshirt.
Yeah. Yep.
So unless you were on the slopes skiing in Tahoe.
Well, then I might be wearing, a tank top or
Or a bikini top coming
bikini
down the
top.
slopes.
Well, when I was young, yeah. I mean, when I was really young and I grew up in Tahoe, I had a really bad habit sleeping that I had to get rid of. I used to sleep with my bare feet pressed up against the window
Why?
because I loved the cold. The cold.
Okay.
See, I told
And
you.
now,
and not
I am the
anymore.
ice queen. Oh no, I still love my feet to be cold.
You do, but
I
not
kick my
that
feet.
cold.
Well, we don't have a window next to our bed, so I might put my feet in the window. I don't know, but I always liked my feet cold. I don't like my feet under the blankets. I will kick my feet, just my feet out from under the blankets, and even if it's cold outside. Now the thing is, that's only when I sleep. I don't like my feet cold any other time. But I just got through explaining why. You guys just don't get it. I'm the ice queen, and I make everyone's heart turn to ice and cold, and I make the world turn to ice and cold.
that's not. I know you got to stop talking like that. That's not right.
Wrong.
That's not
Okay.
acceptable.
Okay. So here's the deal. Tomorrow, we make this a remote for in studio. I will find a way today to get it done.
A remote in studio. What do you mean?
The studio here will be remote tomorrow. In the hot tub.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not doing a hot tub show.
You'd
I
be
have a
warm.
hot tub. I'd have to clean it.
You'd
but
be
I-
warm.
I don't know when the last time was I put chemicals in it, but we could all do a hot tub.
I'm okay
I don't
with
know
doing
how I
a
feel
hot
about that.
tub show. I just don't know that anyone out there watching wants to see a hot tub show.
I'll just sing-
Because first of all, I mean, putting a mic out there and putting a stand and whatever is fine, but I'm not sitting in a hot tub without the
That's
bubbles
cold.
going.
Yeah, it gets a
Which
little
would be
loud.
loud.
So,
Yeah. It gets
a
so it
little
would be a
loud.
little loud.
Yeah.
So it literally would look like if we turn the bubbles off, it would literally look like somebody is sitting in their bathtub. Hi, I'm in my bathtub. Can I put bubbles in the hot tub so you can't see through the water?
Please no. They're a pain to get out.
There
So we're
are
getting-
essential oils or whatever that you can use in a
I've
hot
seen
tub.
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
We are not even talking about our topic. So
What is the topic?
the I
We're
just whenever it was earlier that you sent me a text on here trying to say a comment, I finally just got it.
Oh, okay.
Which one?
Okay.
It was a
Where
private
I
chat
could
from
hear you.
Christy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I finally just got it, and of course
That's funny.
my phone is ringing again.
Is it that guy?
No,
But anyways,
Hello?
so yeah, so weather around here is something that's really
I just
really
hung-
different
hung up.
to work with.
So-
the weather. But anyways, back to the topic.
So our topic for today is supposed to be about grace and space. Has it become a crutch? Take two. And the other part of that is, are we using it more as an excuse rather than it's originally intended? Do you use this when you want an excuse not to do something? Now, there is a time and a place and a moment for, yes, grace and space. Like, I feel like I need to give myself grace and space today because I had an absolute meltdown this morning. And there's things that happen in different like little things happen, and then there's the catalyst that will be the final, like many people call it the straw, the final straw or whatever. But and how do we identify those? How do we find those? I don't know, but I think there's a few things that set me off and made me feel the way I felt about myself and the way I felt about just the whole thing in general. I'm trying to see what screens, how they look. But apparently nothing is going to make it better. Just leave it as it is. Leave it the frick alone, I guess. Anyway, so all I can say is I think that what it was for me is, and Steve wouldn't have known this, and he wouldn't have understand or know that I was bothered by something. But I was in the shower. I took a shower this morning, and I don't know how many people understand when you have a autoimmune. My hair falls out really bad, like I'm on chemo or something. I mean, when I wash my hair, like handfuls of my hair comes out, and it really, really bothers me, and it really affects me. And then I got out of the shower, and I was trying to blow dry my hair, and so I had to clean out my brush, and my blow dryer has this really cool brush on it. It's actually a really cool blow dryer, by the way. So I had to dig the hair off of there because obviously your brush is not going to work well brushing your hair if it's so full that the hair can't move on the brush. So I hate hair. So I'm constantly taking it off. So I took the hair off, and then maybe if I do this. Okay. I this is just bugging me. Sorry, you guys. So I had taken it off, and I was already feeling bad about that. And then Steve walked in, and he went to grab the hair that I had just pulled off and put on the counter to go throw it away. And I reacted to it with, just leave it alone. Like, I'm doing my hair. I'm getting ready. When I'm done, I will throw it away. And it made me feel like he thinks really poorly of me. And instead of just appreciating him taking that and gonna go throw it away, which I didn't need him to do, it set me off and made me feel much worse about myself. And I went into a very dark place for a few minutes. So that was trying to start out in a positive way this morning, and I couldn't stay there. So anyway, can we move on? So obviously I want to, I need to give myself some grace to not be upset at myself for having those feelings. But do we have a tendency, though, to overuse that? Do we use it then when it's not the way it was intended? It's not the way it needs to be. Are we using it as now an excuse to get out of doing things that we should do because, I need to give myself grace and space. I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like doing that. So I'm just going to go ahead and give myself grace and space. Are we misusing it or overusing it?
I don't know. Sometimes I think that it's to me, in a way, it's a fine line. Mm-hmm. Everybody has their own inner demons that they deal with. Mm-hmm. Everybody has all those inner thoughts. We don't wear it on our sleeve for everybody else to see. We can't always anticipate what somebody else is feeling. We can't always, try and be able to just look at somebody and know where they're at, how they're doing, what they're feeling, what they're thinking. We can't always do that, and it's difficult. Well, so space and grace is something, just like you're always telling me, Tori, communicate, communicate, communicate. We need to communicate completely. And even in some of those things, you started off working very hard to have a nice, peaceful, positive morning. And I didn't need to interrupt you. I should have allowed you to have that space that you were taking because it was going well for you. Mm-hmm. And I got into your space, and I shouldn't have done that. That could have prevented that whole thing. I thought I was going to come in there, and I should have just come in and do my initial intention. Come in, say good morning, I love you. How are you doing? Is there anything you need?
Yeah.
And then left it at that. And I have a bit of an OCD issue that everything
he will take your coffee cup while you're drinking it. If you set it down, he will go to wash it.
If you set it down and there's like barely even
If there's
anything in
only
it,
a sip left, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if there's a sip or 2 sips left. He'll take it and go wash it, and you're like, wait, I would still. Never mind.
I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle of cooking dinner, and I'm already washing dishes.
Yeah.
That's just my OCD.
I'm pretty sure if he was a
cleaning.
server and you got up to go to the bathroom, your dishes would be gone by the time you got back.
Probably.
So, Christy, you were going to say something.
You were having a moment this morning. It sounds like you were feeling vulnerable this morning, and you were feeling a little bit of shame, and you were struggling to get through that. And he walked into the middle of that, not realizing that. And his actions were not intentional.
Oh, I know that. Absolutely.
So now, does he know that you feel those things during that time?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he knows. I am quite a bit honest
Vocal,
with him about
right.
stuff.
Is there something that he could say to you? Like if it was, say for example, like if it was a cancer patient, say for example, that was going through that, we instantly know you walk up to them, you give them a hug because you know that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right?
But
So
I mean, like
could he have given you a hug at that moment?
Probably.
Or should he have just walked away?
Honestly, if he had just walked in and said, "Good morning, do you need anything? Would you like your coffee? Or do you want to wait for your coffee? Or just good morning would have been fine because I was already working through that. I had gotten out of the shower. I sat down. I have this really cute little Velcro.
So you needed him
wrap.
to make you feel sexy and normal right then.
Yeah, exactly. And
so can you come up with a word or something so that when you want him...
I thought those were used when you're tied down too long and
No, don't deflect right now. Can you come up with a word or something so that when you want him to stop what he's doing and hold you, so instead, or take over, instead he knows, and then every other moment he can just act normal and keep doing what he's doing? Or something along those lines?
Probably, but I also don't know that Steve would pick up on that because
that's why I'm asking you to come up with a word.
But even if we had a word, I don't know that he would pick up on it when he
You mean identifying that I'm Mr. Oblivious?
Yeah, he is
No, like you just said, communicate. And
I'm very big about communicating. However, I think like all of us, our weakest time of communicating is when we are at our most vulnerable or our worst selves that moment.
Right.
That is our hardest part because what we all have learned, especially somebody who deals with depression, we have all learned to put on a mask.
Right.
And that commercial about putting on the mask is a true commercial. I just don't want to take drugs. But we do. We put on that happy face and pretend that we feel fine and pretend we feel great. And so I have gotten really good at pretending that these medical issues, and mine's mostly because of my failing body.
Right.
But we get really good at hiding that, what it's making you feel like at that moment.
Right.
And for me, it was too much too quick, because I was really already trying to work through that, and I was trying to blow dry my hair and like at least try and make myself look better. And it just came at the wrong time. And I don't know that even if I had a word, I would have even recognized it myself.
And
You know,
like you'd
I
said,
didn't know I was that far, because I was just working through it without even acknowledging it. I just
So
went
in
in
that moment,
so I
you
don't know
needed
if
them to
I-
act normal
probably because
and
I
not
just
do anything else.
well, no, I mean, if he just would have came in and said good morning
Right,
and
that's
gave
what I'm
me
saying. Yeah.
that part of it and not started cleaning up after me.
Right. Right.
But that's the normal thing that is his normal,
Right.
but it is also a normal that bothers me.
Right.
Like, I don't like you walking into where I'm sitting and start picking up around me, because it makes me feel a specific way, which I have communicated umpteen times. Don't do that. Like, when I'm done with what I'm doing, I will pick up my coffee and my plate or whatever I just had. And sometimes he doesn't realize, like, I just got through eating what was ever on that plate.
Okay.
I just finished that drink, and it may have been literally 2 to 5 minutes before he walks in the door from coming home from work. And the very first thing, and this is why it bothers me, the very first thing he does is walks in and starts cleaning up the mess next to me instead of saying hello. I mean, he'll say hello while doing it, but he doesn't come over to me and give me a greeting. He comes over and picks up my plate or whatever, and I may have just finished it, because usually I'm really bad about eating. So I know what time he's coming home, and I know that I need to eat something. And quite often I will go make my plate of something and I will not have touched it. And then I'm like, oh shit, he's about to be home. And I will quickly at least get something down my gullet. And so when he walks in and that's the first thing he does, it does make me feel like, you think I'm a fat, disgusting slob. That's what I feel. That's what I see in the mirror myself.
Okay, so I am gonna remember when we talked about when you point a finger at somebody, you're pointing three back at yourself.
No,
And we talked about no.
I don't know what you're talking
No,
about.
wait. And remember when we talked about when we say things, how we self-talk?
Yeah, the self-deprecation shit.
Yeah. What if those are words that you are saying about yourself, and what he's doing is taking care of you because he loves you?
I do
And-
understand that, and no, he's not taking care of me because he loves me. He's cleaning up a mess because he hates a mess, and that's.
What if that's how
Can you
he
not
was
acknowledge
taught?
that's really what it is?
No, what if that's how he was taught to love?
I mean, yes, that could be part of it, but it is 100. It is also because he can't stand messes.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I
But,
have,
like-
but at the same time, you have to understand from both perspectives. I understand why he does it, but he has not ever taken into account that I don't want you to do it when you first walk in the door. I do not want that to be the first thing you do, because this is what it makes me feel at that very moment. It would be different if you came in, You gave me a greeting. You said hello. You gave me a hug. You went about your business and did something else. And then I got up and went and did something else. And at that moment, I did not pick up my plate. I did not pick up my cup. And I went and did something else and came back, and sure, you picked it up and cleaned it. But give me the chance to do it myself, because if it's there and I get up and I'm done and I'm going to go do something else, I pick up my plate, I pick up my cup, and I take it and I go throw it away or wash it out or whatever needs to happen. But it needs to not happen the minute you walk in the door, because when you do that, that's how it makes me feel. And there's a compromise
you
of
need him to see you first.
I need you to see me, not the mess. And that's what I feel like the only thing you see is, oh, there's a fucking plate there. There's a fucking bowl there. Like, could she not get up off her fat ass? This is what starts going through my head. Could she not get off her fat ass and go throw this away? You know, and he would never say that to me. And I'm sure that's not even what he's thinking. But that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm feeling when that's what he goes directly to. And it would be different, like I said, if he came in and greeted me and then went about his business, and then I got up and left it and he came and picked it up. But I don't, because I don't have a chance to, because he's already picking it up and I'm still there. And I'm like, well, and there's been quite a few times where when he has walked in and picked up the plate and picked up the cup and walked away, I'm like, well, hi to you too. And he doesn't pick up on it. And I have said it numerous times, please don't do that. This is how it makes me feel when you do that. And then he's like, well, you know, I don't want a mess. Okay, so I'm going to take it in a very negative way when that's the response. So I do understand his perspective.
Right. But we talked about, again, self-actualization. Okay. And there's a lot of things that we have not discussed about myself. So we can go into examples of myself. And I grew up in situations where messes, I can't think, I can't concentrate, whatever. Self-love is cleaning. Okay. Being in a spot so that I can think, I can function. That
we talked about that yesterday when I was picking up my desk and cleaning, because I don't function well with a mess around.
Right. For me, if a room wasn't cleaned, I was physically abused. So it has to be clean for me to feel safe in that room. So, you know, that I don't know Steve's situation. I don't know how he grew up, but like it has to.
Were you beaten if there was a cup? I'm going to call your mother.
Well, when I was in juvenile detention homes, foster homes, and group homes, I would be put into solitary confinement.
Right.
When I was in my physical home, I was beaten. Yes.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Now that was meant at Steve, by the way. But yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
And we all have those things that are the triggers.
Right.
And we have to recognize what each of our triggers are. And one, I appreciate you sharing that. And I'm sure that was very hard for you. And now you have to recognize that those are the things.
And it took years to figure that out for me.
Because,
like I would, you know what I mean? Like I would come home and do those things, and then Jesse and the kids would make messes, and I had to clean, and I couldn't stop.
You know, and then you had that anxiety. I'm sure you got that anxiety that if I don't stop and do this right now, like there is no, I'm sure for you, there is no, well, it can wait till tomorrow.
Right.
Because you're like, no, it cannot wait till tomorrow. It has to be right now. Like it has to be right now. So because of that, it makes, and now, are they aware of this? Do they know that this
They
is
do now. Once I started to like recognize that and work through that, that was
right?
something that, and that does that change their habits? No, they still make freaking like literally you won't know where my youngest is by the trail of trash she leaves through the freaking house. But
Well, and
I mean,
that's atypical of teenagers in themselves, correct?
absolutely,
But
but it's something I know. I work on myself every single day. But the other part of that is you have to like, love them where they are and just go with that,
well,
and
and that's where you have to start looking at what might be your root cause for X, Y, or Z. What
right,
causes you to feel this
right,
way, and
right,
I know that for me, that part of my issue is my physical
right,
body. I feel very much like it's failing me, and
right,
and it can be a multitude of things. Like by yesterday evening, by last night, I could not get I could not go anywhere or do anything without the walker. I
right,
had to use a walker last night because my legs just were not functioning. I couldn't put weight down on my foot.
right,
I couldn't put weight down on my leg. So I was already feeling that way. I woke up much better this morning. Like having that time off of my feet helps a lot. But, so I was trying to work through that within myself. And I didn't have a chance to share that I was still having a, emotional issue with it because I hadn't seen Steve yet
right,
at all. So I didn't see him and say, hey, by the way, I'm having to deal with this within myself. I took my shower and, handfuls of hair come out. And,
right,
and so I didn't have a chance to even relay that to him.
right,
And when he walked in and it happened to be hair that he took off the counter,
right,
I can see what caused me to feel that way.
right,
But I hadn't had a chance to even say good morning to him, let alone, hey, I'm dealing with this moment. Can you just show me some love or show me some grace? Give me a moment. And he's correct now. Hindsight's always 2020, right? Had he just walked in and said, hey, good morning, I was just coming to see, if you were up and getting ready for your show or what you were doing, and I see you're blow drying your hair, kiss on the forehead, kiss on the lips, whatever, and just, all right, I'll see you in a minute, and let me finish what I was doing. Because I was mentally working myself through this by blow drying my hair and trying to make myself look better.
trying to get normal. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was
Maybe you just need like a sign on the door or something. You
so
know
it was
what I
just
mean?
bad
It's like,
timing,
right. Like,
but like I
dumb,
said, but at the same time, I didn't really know
what you needed at that moment.
I didn't know what I was going through until,
Right.
like I already,
Until you
and this is a
did,
typical way that I feel after a shower almost every time because, and it, even when I brush my hair, like my hair falls out a
Right.
lot. So, I've gone from really nice hair with tons of it that's fine hair to fine thinner hair because my hair keeps falling out. And so I am trying really hard to work through it already. And sometimes I don't even know that I'm already that far on the brink that one little thing is going to make me feel even worse. And I don't feel bad in the essence of, wow, I left this mess or that he, had to clean up after me. I start feeling like a burden and that's all you are here for is that you feel like you have to be my my housekeeper or my maid or my butler or something. And that's not how I feel about him. I don't want him cleaning up after me. And sometimes I feel like I don't have a chance to even show him that when I'm done with something, I will clean it up because he's already doing it for me. And I know it's out of love. He's just trying to help me out. So it's like, I don't know where to find that, part in between that can get you to understand I need to feel like I am capable of doing things myself, because I am not capable of doing so many things already that just simply picking up my plate or a wad of hair or whatever, just give me a moment to show me that grace that you think I don't have to do this for you kind of. I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going with this. But the whole point is, yes, sometimes grace is needed and you have to give grace and space to yourself as well as others. But do we overuse it sometimes as an excuse out of doing something that we really should be doing? You've been sitting there quietly.
Well, and that's what I was kind of getting at earlier. Sometimes one person, they'll feel that they need the space and grace, and somebody else won't understand it,
yeah.
and they won't know it, and they won't, so that to me is one of those things where it's difficult sometimes. Each person has their own needs, their own time for when they need it, and that. And it seems like no matter how well you know somebody, it's still not something that is easily identifiable.
Well, and because times can be different. What you do today may not react the same way tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because they're not in the same headspace tomorrow that they were in today. So you don't, it's hard to navigate those things. And when that is needed, it is needed. But do we tend to overuse it with ourselves probably more than other people? I don't mean necessarily telling other people I need space and grace, but do we get to a point where we overuse excuses to get out of things just because we simply don't want to? Instead of saying, I have to work through this. I have to do this. Do we go, oh, well, and using
It's hard
space.
now.
Yeah. It's using that space and grace because that has become a word that people use now, or a phrase that people use now, to give themselves a absolution for not doing something or for doing something. It could be because they did something they shouldn't have done, and they give themselves that, oh, well, I just need to give myself space and grace. And, do we overuse it when it's not necessarily, which gives it less meaning than when you actually really need it? Am I making any sense at all?
I think so. I think you're making sense.
Yeah.
And I know there's times, and that's more of a self-reflection piece of it than, one person trying to identify if somebody else is overusing it. You can't really
You
do
can't
that.
do that. No, I agree.
That's a self-reflection of, I probably took advantage of space and grace that I probably really didn't need at that time,
Right.
and could have powered through.
Yeah.
And that's a self-reflection thing. So that's a hard one. But yeah, I think people need to examine themselves and think about those type of things when they're,
It should be used sparingly. It should be used when it is absolutely necessary. And yes, of course, relaying that to your significant other if you were to say, hey, I really need grace today, or I really need space today, and you can put them together too. I need space and grace. And what does that mean? Okay, let's break that down a little bit. What does space and grace mean? When you say that to somebody or to yourself, are you saying, I want to be alone? I want to be away from people? Because space tells me I want space away from you. So if somebody were to say, I want space and grace, I think my reaction to that is don't talk to them, walk away, leave them their space, and
That's a really good point. 'Cause
be
the
gracious
definition can
to
really
them,
change.
be gracious to them that they're alive or whatever, and say, I love you and you're amazing, and woo, and walk away and give them that space now. But are they saying it because it's become a phrase and they really don't want the space? They just need the grace. You know, like, I think that is a part of it, because when I'm my most vulnerable, if I were to say, give me space and grace, I don't actually want space. I need to talk through it. I need to work through it. I need grace to not judge me. That's what I need. The grace I'm asking for is don't judge me right now. And if I'm relaying how I feel about something at this very moment, this is not the time to tell me how you feel about the bullshit I do.
Right.
Because I have a really hard time when I'm having a feeling about something that I'm dealing with. I call it tit for tat.
Right.
That is not the moment I need to hear about what you're going through.
Right.
And it
we
may
listen
be,
and we don't judge.
yeah, it may be that you are having those same feelings about something else, but
Right.
I need you to bring that up at your own time.
Right.
This is my time. Because we all need that. We all need to share what we're feeling, what we're going through. Right now, it's me. I'm dealing with this within myself, and I need grace for you to give me the grace. What does that mean? Yeah. I need you to not judge me right now. That's what I break grace and space down to. When I say I need grace, it means just listen and don't judge. We listen and we don't judge. But I don't necessarily need the space. So for me, like, I would really need to separate, because the longer I'm alone with myself, the more I hate myself.
Yeah.
The more space I have, the more dark I become, and the more angry I become, and the more self-deprecating I become. And all of a sudden, this little thing that was only this wide is now this big, and now I'm enveloped in it. So...
I want to throw something in there real fast.
Yeah.
That is part of why you need to continue with this show. That's why you need to continue with Christy and with Kimberly and not being, because again, you work from home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I have nobody to talk to but the dogs.
You have four-legged beasts around here, but they don't respond.
They don't talk back.
You know,
Charlotte does, though.
Charlotte responds.
She responds to my behavior.
Yes, but you don't have that interaction, and that's a hard thing that I'm sure a lot of people deal with. If you are in the situation where you work from home and you're primarily on your own, you do artwork, you write articles as a freelance writer. You do those type of things. Those are solitary type activities.
Right.
So that is what your day goes. So by you having this type of atmosphere where you have that interaction, you have that time to talk to people. I don't have that. And that's where it's difficult for me, because I go to work, I'm surrounded by people all day long. Asking questions, looking for answers, looking for responses, deadlines, all that other stuff that are all day long.
And I'm sure the opposite goes for you. Like, you wish you had the
on occasion
space. Like, get the fuck away from me. I don't want all these people here. Go away.
And that's where it can be difficult for spouses and for couples to be able to relate that piece back and forth, because you've had quiet a long portion of the day. I haven't had quiet at all for the day, other than the drive to work or the drive home. That's it.
Yeah.
So
Well, fucking, that's what you get, man.
so but so you understand that those are some of those things that people need to be able to identify and be able to recognize in each other of yes, I totally get it. And that's why, like I said, I'm very glad that you have this outlet and not just your freelance writing and not just doing artwork. You have additional time because I've noticed a lot more positivity in you since this has been going.
Yeah, this is episode 63.
So it's just
I think
it's just one of those things where it can be difficult, and I know sometimes I come home and you're looking for that connection and that communication and stuff like that, and sometimes I have had
and you're looking for silence.
I've had one of those days where everybody was pulling me 50,000 directions,
and can I interject?
and I don't communicate well to tell you I need space. I don't do that.
And that is where like Steve and I are such an amazing yin and yang, because and what I just put together with that is where our space and grace comes from.
Yeah.
I need the grace, you need the space. So I need to use that word. If you're going back to what Christy said before, what word could you use to help him understand? I need to just say, I need grace right now. And that means give me the love, do the things I need to feel without the judging, and taking my cup to go wash it is in my feeling is judging. It is, if you're cleaning up after me while I'm sitting there, that's judging. That's how I take it. So if you just learn that when I say I need grace, and it may be the minute you walk in the door, I might say I need grace, and you can come over and say, I love you, give you a hug, and I need space. So I'm going to go in and do this, or go do your boxing, or maybe you want to go clean up your kitchen and get ready to start making whatever it is. And then I know, because you've told me I need space, that don't go in there and start bugging you about things, and together that is space and grace. Mm-hmm. And if one of us starts feeling like, okay, you're a little, and it might be where it just becomes a communication, like, okay, you've said space to me like 17 times today. Like, do you just want me to go away? Like,
I just need to go have a sleepover with my friends.
Do you need to go away for the weekend? What is the deal? And well, you've said grace like 30 times. Like, and it's where we can help each other to be accountable, that we're not just now turning it into overuse and an excuse not to connect, not to communicate, not to fix whatever the problem is.
And that's part of his cleaning up right when he gets home. That might be just a de-stressor and okay, I've checked this off the box so I can decompress and go into relax.
Absolutely, Christy, because this is one of those things. I'm one of those people that when I'm on my feet and I'm moving, I look at everything that needs to be done while I'm on my feet and moving. Because once I sit down, that was something that Tori and I have talked about a lot. She's like, well, you come home and after dinner you sit down and you're ready to fall asleep. Yes. It's because I'm not physically engaged in anything. She's like, well, yeah, you can go out. I've been TDY and stuff like that, and there's people gathering to do this, that, the other thing. You're physically doing something. You're not.
Yep.
I get comfortable. I sit down in the chair. I'm comfortable. I'm relaxed. It's a safe environment.
Yep.
I'm not looking out for anything. I'm not looking over my shoulder. I'm not,
Exactly.
but
Yep.
when you're out and about with other people, you're always looking around. You're always looking to see what's going
Yep.
on. And, Tori and I, we were both military. Tori was law enforcement. You have
Yep.
that piece in the back of your mind of always checking 360. You
Yep.
just do. I don't have to do that at the house. So
Yep.
it's so easy because I'm relaxed, I'm comfortable, I'm safe.
Yep.
So
Well, I am
that's
glad
where,
that it's a safe place.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
see,
so
it's
there's
not because you're fat and ugly. It's because
It's-
he's safe, and now he
I'm
wants to let it all
comfortable.
down.
exactly, and
And-
you
and
just
there has to
let
be-
it out.
And
you're
there's a
just-
way to, I think, have a happy medium there where if you feel like that's kind of what you need to do is go and do some of those things, just leave my space alone.
You're right.
Just
And
leave
that's-
my space alone because I don't care if you're doing other things. It's
Can
when
you
you
put
hit
like
my
a-
little space.
Can you put like a little bucket like in the living room where your dishes can go?
Well, I
like,
don't have.
as you.
Okay,
She doesn't
or
have
what-
that
you know
much.
what I mean?
clarify. I don't
no,
have
no, sorry.
dishes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'm not a
Okay.
slob.
No,
No,
it's definitely not
I'm sorry,
that.
I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to how do we do this so that you don't
Okay,
stress them out?
I might have my coffee cup.
yeah.
Just leave it the fuck alone. That's how you don't
Okay.
stress me out or
Okay.
him out. Just leave my shit alone. When I get up and I walk away from it and I've left it there, then maybe I do need your help. Maybe that I left it there because I can't carry it or whatever. Sometimes my hands are not functioning the right way. I don't have a grip. So if I've walked away from it and I'm now and I don't mean like I got up and ran to the bathroom to go potty, but I've walked away. I'm now in the bedroom putting laundry away and it's still there. It's, as we call it with
It's
food.
fair game.
Now it's fair game. Like if that's what makes you feel better, go ahead. But as I'm sitting there,
Okay,
and I'm
but
on my
if
computer-
he does it, will you remember it's because he loves you so much, you're his safe space, and it's not because you're fat.
no, probably not. I mean,
Well, then I'm gonna fucking
We-
tattoo it to your forehead.
I probably can over time, but at the same time, I go into, okay, we also have to listen. We also have to
Right.
listen to one
So
another.
do you.
And I do. I do with a lot of this. I mean, this used to bug me when he would come in and just start doing the dishes. If I hadn't done the dishes yet today,
Sure.
that used to bug me if he just came in and started doing the dishes. That doesn't anymore because he
Yeah.
told me this is what he feels he wants to do and needs to do. So I no longer get after him, and I don't. Is that correct?
Right.
If he comes in and he starts doing the dishes, I don't have any problem with it. But at the same time, where it comes to the listening part, I have told him 100 times, leave my particular thing alone
I'm
that I
just
have
gonna
right here.
say, I'm just gonna say, at the end of the day, if something happened and he weren't here next week because something happened that was awful, this is what you would miss the most. So choose your battles. And remember, it's because he feels safe. And try to remember
I
that.
understand. I do. I completely understand that. And this is where understanding has to come from both sides.
Yes, I agree 100%.
Understanding
I
has to
agree
come from both
100%.
sides. So if I can relent that to him because he feels
Yep.
safe, I also need to feel not like you
Absolutely.
think I'm disgusting by
Right.
picking. And it would
Yep.
be different if there was just a whole bunch of shit around me and
Right.
and candy
Right.
wrappers and all
Right.
this other. It's usually a paper plate.
Right.
Usually there's not even a plate.
For the
Usually
record,
it's,
I would totally be like on him, but everything he said all this whole hour has been, I should have not grabbed that hair. I should have kissed her. He has done that. That's why that's why I've been like, Victoria, why are you not also trying?
I am. Oh,
I'm like,
Well-
wait a minute, woman.
I do. Well, at least I feel like I do. Maybe I don't.
Okay.
Do I not?
You do. It's
Yeah.
but again,
I just keep
sometimes
hearing you call yourself a fat fuck and say really negative things about yourself, and I'm trying to stop that and remind you that he
that's
feels safe, and that's a good
yes,
thing.
yes.
Oh, I
I've
completely
tried.
agree with that.
I want her to know that I don't think those things. That is not where my mind is going. My mind is and
Oh,
that's
I mentally know that, but my subconscious tells me different. It's my inner demon or whatever.
yeah.
That's a you problem, girl. Knock it off.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Shut the front door. But yeah, I mean, I know that I know it's a me problem.
Space and grace.
I
Cut it out.
1000% know it's a me problem. And I tell him that after I've had an issue and I've talked to him and we're communicating, I tell him it is not you. This is not your fault. And it's not me. It's you. It's not you. It's me. Are we breaking up? No, I mean, I have told him probably every single time. This is not your fault. It is not your problem. It is a me
Okay, stop
problem.
right there. Stop right there. Okay. Not your fault. Not your problem. Well, no, it is still my problem because we're a team. So the problem still lies with both sides. You can't sit there and say that I have nothing to do with it, because I do.
Well, the way I react to it, though, and the way I handled it is a me problem. So the bottom line is this: when people are using those type of words, the grace and space, they, I think, identifying what you're actually meaning with that. Identifying, are you needing space? Do you need people to go away from you? Are you needing grace? Meaning,
Yes, that's important.
my definition of listen and don't judge, or just don't judge. I may not even want you to talk to me. Like,
Right.
I may need that
Be
space
my
too.
sounding board. Yeah.
I need you to listen. I need you to hear me. And sometimes people need you to hear them without words.
Yeah.
Sometimes we need to hear each other with just body language, just facial expressions. Just are they like, if I am in the middle of typing and you walk in and you see me and I'm typing away, my mind is probably severely focused on an article I'm writing, and I have thoughts in my head right now that I have to finish and get out, or I will lose what my thought process is. So at that time, you can identify, she probably needs space right now. Because if I come and say hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever, if I say boo, and she has to stop what she's doing to acknowledge me for a moment, even if I just came through the door, if she has to stop what she's doing right at this very moment, could she lose track of what she's doing? So then I can identify I need space. And same thing with, like, I give a lot of space to Steve in work time. When he's at work, whether he's at home working telecommute or he is at work, I don't call him all the time. I don't bother him. He's at work. He's got stuff to do. I don't know if he's in meetings. I don't know, whatever. I only call his office if I actually need to talk to him. So it's like, and I can tend to forget that you've been at work all day, so you need that space. So if I walk in and he's in the middle of doing something, I need to acknowledge and see that he needs that space too. And this goes to all those people out there. You can start identifying by people's body language, by their facial expressions, and you can also ask if you see that person doesn't even look up from their keyboard or their screen as they're typing, they're probably in that mode right that
They're in
second.
the zone.
They're in a zone. Give them a few minutes. When you hear the typing stop, you're probably also going to see this response at the exact same time.
What the
And
fuck?
I'm probably going to look at you and say, "Hey, hi, I'm sorry I was in the middle of this. I got it done." And I'm going to set it aside for a moment to say our hellos or whatever, because Steve doesn't walk in the door at the exact identical same time every single day. And we all know Tori has a very difficult time keeping track of time. So I think it's 12:30 and you walk in the door and it's 4. And I'm like, "Oh, it's 4?
Whoopsie.
What happened?" So we all as just people have to start identifying that within our friends, within our family, within our immediate family, our loved ones that we live with and we are a part of, because we don't necessarily identify the same way as them. So we have to start identifying the cues that can tell us what those are. And for me, I'm a very verbal person. I'm a high communicator. So I have no problem saying, "Hey, I need grace." But for those that aren't big communicators and they need the grace or the space, they might have to learn within themselves to say, "Hey, I need space," or "Hey, I need grace," or whatever it is that you need at the time. I tell Steve all the time that it's very difficult for me because I have to figure out what he's thinking, what he's feeling, what's going on in him solely by his body language and his facial expressions. And it
Or
makes
you
it
could
very...
just trust him to tell you.
He doesn't. Absolutely does not
Damn
in
it,
any way,
Steve.
shape, or form. So
Damn it,
I
damn
have...
it.
And
I'm
I
bad.
have to tell him all the time, you do realize the day they were giving out crystal balls, I was absent because I ran out of time. Like
Well, that's your assignment, Steve. Fix that.
Yep.
Fix yourself.
check yourself. But it's true. Like, we have to identify our own flaws
Right.
in these things that we're doing.
Good morning, I love you, I do. Good morning, I love you, I do.
Oh dear Lord, that reminds me of what was that stupid dinosaur? I love you, you love me. We're a
No,
happy
no,
family. Well, what was that one?
It was a pumpkin, a penguin.
Oh, a pumpkin.
Oh,
Aww.
a
Penguin.
penguin?
It was a little penguin.
How do you get penguin out of pumpkin? I
don't know.
want to know that. Like, how did you misidentify a penguin as a pumpkin? That's what
the orange
You know what?
beak.
the orange beak made him a pumpkin. Oh, that
Oh,
is
it
so
makes
funny.
sense to me.
I don't know.
Totally works for me. I'm with you.
It works for me. Yeah, I got it now with the orange. I would have probably said orange beak. He's Olaf or
It's a
something.
P word, and there's orange. Connection.
There you go. Connection. See, you got it. You got it. So I don't know that you've heard this song, but because you probably haven't heard it, if it's okay, do you mind? So this is what I did for Steve's Christmas present. I wrote him a song for Christmas.
Okay.
And this and because it's relevant to this episode, do you mind if I play it?
Sure.
Can
Go.
you not play that?
I'm looking for other good ones.
Okay. Be present with what we're doing here and not doing your own thing over on the side. Maybe. I don't know. But I'm asking Christy and Steve, do you
said
mind if I
I
play
said
this,
fine.
or will it be annoying?
Go for it.
Okay. And let me know if you can hear it.
Nope.
Can you hear it?
No.
Christy can't hear it.
No.
Hold on. Hold on. I have to stop. Pause. Okay. Christy cannot hear it on her end. So let me see why okay, she probably needs to have everything else muted. And just
We
Got
met
it.
just in time. You're a Marine, a firefighter, brave and true. I'm a mother, a soldier, strong, loud, and tough. I talk, you listen. I cry, you lift me up. I fall, you make me rise with your love and touch. Yin and yang we are, opposites attract. I wish I met you first, but grateful you're the last. You light up my dark, you calm all my storms. In this life we share, our hearts stay faithful and warm. We stand together in battles we've had to fight. Through the highs and lows, love's our guiding light. Yin and yang we are, opposites attract. I wish I met you first, but grateful you're the last. You accept my flaws, my baggage I've hauled around. You help me unpack it all and keep my feet on the ground. Yin and yang we are, opposites attract. I wish I met you first, but grateful you're the last. Without you I'd be lost, a boat without a paddle. Knowing you are here, I can win any battle. Yin and yang we are, opposites attract. I wish I met you first, but grateful you're the last. Grateful you're the last. Grateful you're the last.
Is this the one you put on the canvas? Right? In the circle? Okay.
yeah.
All right. Yeah. I read the words, didn't hear the song. Good job.
Do you like it?
Mm-hmm. I do.
Huh? Say that again.
I do.
Yeah, it was took me a long time to write it actually. It took quite a bit of getting all the words right and getting all the things right. It took a bit of time to do that. And I wanted it to be touching, and I wanted it to be he had to go up and go potty. But he probably also didn't want to cry on camera or something. I don't know. Maybe it would make him cry. I don't know if it would.
Lizzie!
But you know, it took a lot for me to write. I write those for people. I know a lot of people have seen those things out there. It's one of the things that I do offer. But you know, people can go in and I think there's one called Songfinch. And you put all the prompts in and you tell them what to write, and then they write you a song and they sing it for you and you buy it. And so it is one of the things that my company offers out there. But it's how it's how I journal. It's how I write. When I'm needing to get my feelings and thoughts out about things that I'm going through, I write. That's what I do. So, you know, whatever it is that you do for yourself out there to help you through bad times or good times? Do you listen to music? Do you talk? When you're giving yourself that grace, what do you do to help yourself through that? I write. For some people, they might like to clean. They might go to the gym. They might go for a run. They might go ride a motorcycle and get, out on the road. So it's like, what do you do to give yourself that rejuvenation or the reboot that you might need? Some people meditate. They go in, they sit down and they meditate. Some people do things in an aggressive manner, like go box, go do kickboxing, go punch the bag, because that's how they get out their energy or they release whatever it is that they're feeling. Because we all need something to help us release whatever it is that's internalizing and affecting us and bothering us. And what is it that you do, or what is it that you can try to do that might help you to release those things? What do you do yourself, Christy?
I'm really bad. I guess probably meditation is a good one. My younger self would say write. I really enjoy listening to music really loudly and driving really fast down the road. Not the safest thing in the world, but music for sure helps me sort things out.
I used to love to hop on my bike when I was having a hard time. Just hop on my motorcycle and just go, because one, I had to let go whatever was bothering me and I was thinking about and focus and concentrate on riding. So if I was really upset or really had something I was dealing with, I could go ride my bike and I would speed. I did things that I'm like, that's really dangerous, but I was a really good rider. Like I'm really good on a bike. So I could go do some of those things probably that are a little bit more dangerous. And I didn't do dangerous things, especially when I was by myself. I did do some showing off when I was around people. Sure. You can ask my mother-in-law about the time that I caught up to them in their truck on my bike. And when I caught up to them, I literally rode by them, and he was with his mom and dad in the truck, and they were heading to Reading. And I wasn't going. And then my boss let me go. So I went and jumped on my bike and caught up to them. And they were quite a ways ahead of me. And I caught up to them. And when I rode by them on my motorcycle standing on the seat. And my mother-in-law was like, what the fuck is she doing?
Funny.
And that's the showing off part. Like, look at, it reminds me of Stuart from SNL. Do you remember Stuart from SNL?
Oh my God.
Look what I can do. Look what I can do. Yeah. I mean, and we all have those. And it's not just riding a bike. It might be something completely else, but we all have that moment of, you want to be seen. See me.
Right.
See me. Look what I can do. That's what that whole purpose of that skit was on SNL. And it is kind of directed at all people, because we all want to be seen at different times. I don't want to be seen when I'm doing my worst. Right. And that's what can help with the self-deprecation and the self-harm and the self-feeling, loathing and all those things, because sometimes when it feels like the only time I'm seen is when there's a mess, when I'm a mess, when there's something wrong.
That's the only time you feel like you're being seen.
Correct. And that's all people. Like, we all might think the only time we're seen is when it's negative. But we have to start seeing ourselves and seeing other people that they're acknowledging when it's not just negative. You have to open yourself up to see when they're seeing you at those other times.
Right.
And it's easier said than done. Like it
Right.
is so easy to say, well, you need to do this. You
Right.
need to do that. You need to start paying attention. You need to, and what am I doing? I'm blocking myself the whole time while
Right.
I'm telling you what you need to do is this and you need to do that because I don't see it myself. Like it's easy to judge each other while not judging yourself. Like I can
Right.
tell you what you need to do, but because I'm all knowing when I'm giving you advice. But, and how often do we say that? I give advice to
Right.
someone that I'm not even taking myself.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Yeah.
really good at that. I can give you great
Absolutely.
advice. And
Absolutely.
after the phone call's over
Yeah.
with, I'm like,
Right. Watch me sit my ass back down and repeat what I just said I was not going to do.
right, exactly,
Or
exactly.
you
And
shouldn't do.
and it's so easy for us as just human nature for us to not even realize that we're doing that.
Right.
So it's the self-realization and in some of those things, like when you write down in your journal, like for myself, if you write down what you're feeling and how you're feeling and maybe even giving yourself some of that advice, one of the things that I notice is I never go back and read it. I don't read
Right.
what I wrote about myself. I don't read. I found a journal just not that long ago that I opened up and I was reading, and it was from years and years and years ago because I still have all these journals that I've written in. And man, if I was dead and somebody pulled that out, they'd be like, suicide, definitely suicide. There's no doubt she offed herself because this is nothing but some dark ass shit. And
Oh no.
I started reading, like, put it this way, I was crying for the girl that was writing it when I was reading it. And I was like, I had to stop reading it because I was like, man, she was in a really bad, whoever this bitch was, she was in a really bad place. And I had to put it in that perspective because it was myself, because I obviously wrote the fucking shit.
That is not good.
No, it's not. So it's like, okay, well, I don't want to tear it up and throw it away or any of that or burn it because that is me and mine, and I've come a long way from there. But then you go like, have I? Or has it always been there? It's just shows in different formats now, you know?
Okay, I cannot stress this enough, and I know you're going to struggle with this, but I cannot stress enough how important words are and how much the universe and your brain does not know the difference between your words and reality. So when you say those horrible things about yourself or those horrible things about what's going on in your life, you're speaking those things to your reality. So
Right.
if that's what, so I need you to stop.
Well, and
You're speaking that to your health. You're speaking that to all
well,
the
the
things.
thing is I don't if I pulled out stuff that I write now,
Yeah,
it is all very positive.
good.
It is all very
Because I
positive.
need you to not do that anymore.
And I like most of my stuff now, I kind of turn into music or I turn it into a song because I've gotten really into doing that. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of positivity in there, and there's a lot of like giving way more grace and forgiveness and stuff like that have been a lot more in there.
Good.
And acknowledging that, like even that song that I wrote for Steve, it was acknowledging that I had all this baggage, but he's helped me to unpack it, helped me to keep my feet on the ground and feel like I'm safe too. And, and that I don't have to carry that shit anymore. And that I can let some of that stuff go and not feel that anger towards myself, so I have done a lot of that.
Good.
And I
It's
keep,
so important.
and I'm constantly a work in progress.
Oh yeah,
You
me
know,
too.
I mean, like,
I have to check myself all the time because it's hard. It's not easy to be
no, it's
good,
it's easier to hate
but
yourself,
you. Okay, we're
honestly.
gonna rephrase this.
No,
We
that's a
are
good
constantly
phrase.
working on it, but that's a negative one.
But
So
it's
we're
an
gonna work
easy,
on it.
but what I'm saying
We
is
are working on it every day.
correct, but hear me out with the what I was saying is it's easy to hate yourself. It's
It is.
hard to love yourself. So you have to do the hard thing rather than the
Yeah.
easy thing. You can't
Yes.
take the easy way out. You have to
Right.
do the hard steps. You have to do the hard
Yeah.
thing. So if it's harder to love yourself and it's harder to find grace and it's harder to
Yeah.
give yourself grace, you want grace from other people, but you have to give it to yourself. You want love from other people, but you have to love yourself. You have to do the hard thing, not the easy thing.
You know what I found was super honestly so well, one of the things that was super healing for me was someone had said to me once, they said, when you respond negative to people in any way, and I'm always working on this, but I try really hard. But say, for example, you're at a fast food place or at a gas station or whatever, and you get really
A
pissed
Karen.
off at the,
A
yeah,
Karen.
become
Yeah.
exactly. Someone said to me, your response to people shows how you were raised or the abuse and the victimization that you have been through. And that was
Or it could also just show how you feel about yourself,
right,
Right.
100%. Yeah.
which comes
And-
from all of what you just said. How you were
Yeah.
raised, how you were treated. How you feel about yourself often is how you were raised, how you were treated. That's where
Yeah.
your triggers come from. And how, like I used to tell my kids that, a bully quite often it's because they've been bullied
They've
their
been
whole
bullied.
life.
Yep.
And they
exactly.
don't understand the difference between bullying and kindness. They don't know
Yeah.
it because they've never learned it.
Exactly.
They've never been taught it.
Right. And yeah, that when they said that to me, my instant thought was I have already been hurt. So I refuse to let the person that hurt me my entire life control the rest of my life. That's it, it's just like, no,
You
this
give them
ends
that
now.
power. You have to take
Yeah.
It's the same thing with sexual assault victims. I used
Right.
to tell this all the time. Take the word victim out of your vocabulary and rephrase that with victor. Be a
Right.
victor. Be
Right.
be victorious over it. Make it make you powerful. Make
Right.
it make
Absolutely.
you stronger. Make you stop using the word victim, because victim automatically makes you lower. It pushes you
Right.
down. And I used to do a lot of public speaking about domestic violence and because I did go through that, but
Right.
I became a victor over it. I was
Right.
victorious over it. I
Right.
became a Viking over my experience instead of a victim, because a victim is still in that place.
Right.
If you use it to make you powerful, make you stronger, make you victorious, make you the leader in your own mind, then they can't control how you feel anymore. And if
Right.
you are a victim and you stay in a victim mentality and you stay a victim, they will be in control of your thoughts and your feelings and your actions.
Right.
And you have to find a way to power over that and say, I am not going to do that to myself.
Right.
And
it's work. I mean, literally every day there are gonna be things that are gonna like potentially set you back. So you always have to work on it.
yeah,
But it's worth it 100% of the time. It is always worth it to do that because it sets you free. It's just amazing to be that light because it really does change so much.
Well,
of
and
everything
when
around you.
and when you talk it through with other people, like
Yes.
you know, when you can soundboard it off of someone, whether
Yes.
it's your significant other or a friend, and sometimes you
Yeah.
might need to soundboard it off with yourself. Sometimes
Right.
you might need to talk to
You
yourself
be
in the
that crazy
mirror.
person in the car talking to yourself. It's okay.
Exactly, it's okay.
Just pretend you're talking on your phone. What?
Yeah, I'm on my Bluetooth. What do you
Oh,
mean?
what's the problem?
It's an implant.
It's on my face.
You know, well, hey, I have my glasses, not these ones,
Yeah.
but you know, the other glasses, those are awesome
me
because they
too.
talk
Oh,
right
yeah.
through the bone in your head.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you can hear, and you literally have nothing in your ears. So somebody would
Yeah.
look at you like, you don't
the
have
hell?
Bluetooth on. What the
Right.
fuck are you talking about?
Yep.
But you do have to, you might have to soundboard off of somebody. And if you have to, it's almost like a 12-step program for
Right.
your mental health of
Absolutely.
having somebody that you is your sponsor, so to speak. And you may be each other's sponsor. Like, hey, call me no matter what time it is. If I know that, like, let's just say this right now. Christy, if you called me at 1 a.m, I'm going to answer it because I
Yep.
know Christy don't call me at 1 a.m.
Right.
So if
Something's
she's
wrong.
calling me at 1 a.m, there's something going on that you need me to listen, you need me to hear, or you need me to help,
come
you
get
need me
me.
to guide, or you need me to come get you. I'm
Yep.
going to answer the call. And but you need that within, and that's a hard thing for me because, like, and I know that parts of what I'm going through too right now are loss because of
Right.
losing Kristen.
Right.
And she was that person. She was my person.
Right.
Like I could call her at 2 a.m.
Right.
and she's answering the phone, and 90%, and same with her. I mean, I cannot
Right.
tell you the number of times that my phone rang in the middle of the night, and as I'm walking out of the room, Steve would say, "Kristen," and I'd say
Yep.
yes, and I'd go in the
Yeah.
other room and I would talk her off the cliff. But it
Right.
was reciprocal. If I called
Right.
her at the same time in the morning, in the middle of the night, and we're on two different time zones, it wouldn't
Yep.
matter what time I called her, she's picking up the phone. It wouldn't
Right.
matter what time she called me, I'm picking up the phone. If I was
Right.
in the middle of something, I'm picking up the phone.
Right.
If she called, I would say, I got to go with whomever it was. If we were on this show right now and she called, Kristen, could you please? Because I really could use hearing from you. But if
Yeah.
she called right in the middle of the show, I'd have been like, I got to go.
Yep.
You know, I gotta be there for her no matter what, no matter where, no
Yeah.
matter when. And
Right.
for me, I don't have that person anymore.
Yeah.
So I have to, and she's not replaceable.
Right.
So I think that's also part of it is allowing someone else in her space,
Yep.
which I don't think I even acknowledged until just now
Yeah.
because she's not replaceable.
Right. And she
So-
shouldn't be replaced. You just
Right.
learn
But-
how to have a
I have to
different
learn how to
space.
trust someone else in the same
Right.
way that I
Yeah.
trusted her. And
Yeah.
I trust Steve with everything, and I do overshare probably with
Yeah.
Steve. And I wish he
Yeah.
would overshare with me a little bit more.
He probably does. You just don't know because you've never seen him with somebody else. And you're like, oh.
Well,
And you
yeah,
see it, you'll be
true.
like, dude.
But it's like yeah, I share TMI with him, and you know, there are people I know that I have that, like, I could call Donna, I'm sure, and she
Right.
would answer the phone. I'm
Right.
sure if I called you in the middle of the night, you would answer the phone. But you also
Right.
know those people in your life
Right.
don't do that.
They won't answer. Right.
They're not going to answer at the normal time of the day. They're certainly not going to answer you at 2 a.m. You know,
Right.
so know your people, and you know, get yourself that support team. And even if it's one person, if it's, you know, because we all need a different person at different times too.
Right. Some people are not capable of certain conversations, and that
Right.
is important to recognize.
Right. You do have to recognize, you know, I'm not going to call Christy's husband to talk about your menstrual cycle. You know, like that's probably not the guy I need to talk to. And in general, guys are not the one to talk to about that because they don't understand it. They don't get it. Yeah. And they're probably looking at you like, why are you talking about this with me?
Why?
Like,
yeah.
Do you is this whole preamble because you need me to go buy you something from the store? Couldn't you just cut to the chase? I don't need to know the whole. I don't need to know how the clock is made. Just tell me what time it is. But why are you giving me all these details to go into? No. So back when I was 9, and he's like, "What are you talking about right now?" He's like, "I'm rocking and crying because I just want you to stop." You know, so you have to. You have to know, as they say. What's the phrase? Read the room. You know, you have to know your audience, and
true story.
And maybe don't. And I say, like, girl talks, it's girl talks. We can talk about anything. So
we will dump it.
I do have the mental thing in my mind that if somebody says TMI, I'm going to be like, fuck off, because like, this is the place where we can go.
You went to the wrong show today.
Yeah.
Then go to the next one.
Yeah. I'm sorry. You know, but there is more to give in that place, because sometimes we need to overshare to get to the meat
that other people
of
feel
what we're dealing with. Yeah. And sometimes there's people out there that they're going through the exact fucking same thing, and they don't have that person. So it might be a show that they're coming to, and that is where they're getting it from. And you know,
it will help them say that to someone.
Oh my God, I'm going through that too. Yeah. You know, like I saw a post that somebody put out on Facebook the other day asking about period panties and saying, "Hey, does anybody know of a good brand, and do they work?" Like, and there was many comments underneath of it about, "Oh, I use those only now, and this is blah blah blah. Make sure you get, because you might if you're on a heavy day, you might have to have 2 or 3 pair, and just make sure you rinse them out right away so that they're washed better. You don't want to let them sit. Blah blah blah. We all know this. Well, you know." I did see one person that put a comment. This is TMI, and I was like,
"Shut the fuck up! We need to fucking know these things."
Then you see the post come on, and it's TMI for you. Then move on. Just keep scrolling. You can go find something else that you can. If it was uncomfortable for you, go somewhere else.
Us want to know, because I have a teenage daughter that just started her period. I had a hysterectomy, so I have no idea what to use those, like how it works.
Because things are so different today.
Those reviews,
exactly. And I want to hear it from a real person, not a influencer, because I almost bought these one set of them, and because I don't have a period. I had a hysterectomy as well, so I don't have that issue, but I have severe incontinence. Yeah. It's not my own fault. I'm not to blame. My body has its own problems. But so I have been kind of researching those, because constantly buying pads are very expensive. And I'm sorry, I'm too young, and I don't want to wear a Depends. I don't want to wear a paper bag. I don't want to feel like I'm wearing a diaper. So I have been researching them. So it's like, okay, for me, I wanted to read that because are they the same ones you would use for that? Would they be effective for the same thing? Because obviously the flow is different with your bladder versus your blood. So, you know, will the same ones work for this, or do you have to have a different one? Does anybody know? I'm going to read through it because I want the information, and I want to discuss that with somebody. And when you're having a talk like this, there might be somebody who pops in and says, oh,
Today, this,
you know,
blah, blah, blah.
wow, I'm interested in this topic as well. I want to know more about this. So when something is too TMI for someone else, you can move along. Go find something else that you are interested in,
Exactly.
because the person that is reading it or corresponding in it, it might be not too TMI for them, and
It
they
might
might
help them.
legitimately be interested in it. And another gal in there said, you know, nothing is TMI, because TMI was when I went through this when I was 10 years old or whatever. And my mom's teaching me and talking to me about it was throwing me a tampon and a pad and saying, pick one, through the door and shutting the door and walking away. And I'm sitting there going, and this wasn't me, this was somebody who posted this. And she's sitting there going,
I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what what am I, you know, do I tape this to my
Exactly.
forehead? You know,
Right.
and I hope that you know, am I dying? So
Yep.
like my experience with that, I think I was 9.5 years old, and I was at school. Ironically, I'm wearing a pair of white pants.
No.
I had no idea what was happening. I was having a really bad cramp that day, but I didn't know even what that was. And I had not been talked about it. I did not know this was ever going to be coming. So I had no idea this was coming ever. And so see, we just had somebody pop on and then they went back away. So they may have been like, yeah, TMI, I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah.
But like the coach obviously saw or noticed something, grabbed me, had me take my sweatshirt off and wrap it around my waist. And then she's like, walk with me. And she took me in the bathroom and she explained it to me. And I didn't even know it was there. Like, you feel the wetness or whatever, but I didn't know. I didn't look down. And then she's like, look, and I went, oh my God, am I dying? Like, I had no idea. I'm like, oh, that must be why I'm hurting so bad. What did I do? I was out on the, and I'm trying to like justify like where I was at. I was out in the yard playing with some other, did I trip? And she's like, no. And she explained it to me, and I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
So there's so many people out there, and you know, to backtrack it a little bit, this is also about mental health. Like, we don't know what we're doing.
Right.
So talking about it can
Is
help
important.
you navigate and learn what to do to deal with it. Just because, you know, it for one person, even, you know, talking about menstrual cycles or giving birth or doing those things could be TMI to somebody, but literally talking about your mental health can be TMI to some people. And some people just need to talk it through. You need to talk about these things, because these are the things that can help you get better or find healthy ways of dealing with what that you're going through, finding out what your trauma is, finding out what your triggers are. How do you talk through it? How do you work through it? So, anyway, I think that's enough for our show today, because we are at an hour and 42 minutes. We were late, so we knew we were going to be late, but we're late. But now it's time to end the show, because we're at an hour and 40 minutes, and I was trying to end it at an hour and a half, but I didn't do it. So I'm going to do the best I can. I don't know how many of these are going to actually fit to what our topic is for the day. But I am going to give our quote out of our little tin, a little box of motivational shit, because we all need a kick in the ass sometimes. So today's is don't give up. You still have a lot of motherfuckers to prove wrong.
Needed that one today, huh?
Yeah, I think so. So then we'll go to a devotional.
All right.
Because I'm that kind of girl. Rest in Jesus. Come to me, all of you who are tired and have heavy loads. Seems like a very good one for today. And I will give you rest. Accept my teachings and learn from me, because I am gentle and humble in spirit, and you will find rest for your lives. Matthew 11:28-29. And that's the NCV version. For some of you, your morning started with an alarm clock that went off too early, and you are just now getting a chance to enjoy your cup of coffee. You are awake, but already you are tired. Tired not because you didn't sleep last night, but tired because you are carrying a heavy load. The stress of work, family life, relationships, expectations, and a busy schedule has left you tired and stressed, and you haven't even checked your email yet. Jesus is inviting you this morning to rest in him. Even with everything that is going on in your life and all the tasks that are calling for your attention, Jesus is inviting you to pause and spend time with him. What a beautiful picture of Jesus this paints for us. Come to excuse me. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your soul. Matthew 11:28-29, NIV version. I do read both of these because it does show both of the different versions of how it's been translated. The analogy of a yoke loses some of its impact in our world today because it's not a tool with which we are familiar. A yoke was a large wooden plank that, when put around the neck of two oxen, that allows them to work side by side, sharing the workload. Though the imagery is not as familiar to us today, the invitation from Jesus still remains. Jesus is inviting us to allow him to share our workload. He knows how difficult life can be for us, and he's willing to help us through it. When we take this yoke, it allows us to not have to feel the full weight of our burden. It also allows us to walk where Jesus is leading. As we do, he promises that he will find rest for our souls. It reminds me of the Footprints in the Sand poem, where it's like, where you've always been by my side. You've always been there. You've always been there. What happened to you? Where are you? Why did you forsake me? Why did you leave me? And the poem says, I didn't leave you. At that moment, I carried you because you were so burdened that I was helping you by carrying you. And that's what this reminds me right here is sometimes we do have to give those burdens to God, but sometimes we need the yoke. We need him to work with us with it. We need to, and you have to put those in different analogies because your yoke could be your friend that he's given you that you can share this with and let your load off. Because for me as a talker, somebody who likes to talk, and so for somebody who likes to share and sometimes overshare, whatever, but that's my way of dealing with kind of the yoke. Like once I talk it out, I have the ability to let it go.
Right.
And it doesn't mean it won't come back tomorrow in a different form, but I have to talk it through. I have to talk it out to get rid of it. So that's how I deal with things that trouble me. So now our prayer is, Jesus, thank you for walking alongside of me. Forgive me for the times when I feel like I need to carry the burdens off of life alone. I want to connect to your yoke and learn from you. Thank you for the rest that you provide. Jesus, thank you for knowing my need for rest and inviting me in. My mind is filled with to-do lists and deadlines, but this morning, help my mind instead to be filled with your thoughts. Help me to experience the rest you offer. And I think that's a very good prayer, and we need to keep those things in mind. And I'm telling you, doing a daily devotional is, for me, it's very helpful. What are some burdens that you've been carrying that you need to allow Jesus to help you with? So that can take upon you after the show that if there's something you need to actually sit down with Jesus about and talk about and give him those burdens. And for me, it would be the burden of self-deprecation, feeling bad about myself, looking negatively at myself, if I can give that to him and have him help me replace that with those positive thoughts and those positive feelings and those self-affirmations, that as funny as they can be and as funny as they have been mocked on many a show and many a thing out there, they really are valuable. They really are truly valuable. So remember to value yourself and remember to love yourself. And I know that is one of the hardest things to do. So I'm, as my own person that deals with this on a regular basis, I am sharing that out with you, that learning to love yourself and giving yourself grace. And if you need grace and space, don't overuse it. Use it when you actually need it. Don't use it as an excuse, because then it becomes more like the boy who cried wolf. Let's use it for what it
Use
really
it productively.
means. Grace of, we listen and we don't judge, or just don't judge because the person doesn't. If they want space and grace, they ain't talking. But go in grace, go and have your space, whatever it is. But I love everybody out there, and I hope that if what we share here can help anyone else. And there are resources, and one of these upcoming episodes, we're going to talk about resources, local resources and national resources for mental health, because if we're all honest, I don't think there's a human being on this planet that doesn't have some mental health issue that they are dealing with, even if they're hiding it really, really well. I think we all have something that we could use some help with. So with that, remember to like, follow, subscribe, and please, we do need some new subscribers on our YouTube channel. We could really use that. So I appreciate it. Remember, all of our socials is Girl Talks, GURLTAUX, because we're going to talks about it. Talk to you soon and have a great day. Thanks. Bye, everybody.